for teams to start making moves towards the postseason. Here we go. It's Week 11. This one's fielded at the 4-yard line. And this drive will start inside the 25. So here are the Jaguars taking over for the first time on offense. And they'll be led out by someone that we'll get a look at here, this second-year passer.
Kate, he's had some time to work past their last game, and he needed every second of it. A 4-interception game isn't easy for anybody to move on from, even for the shortest of memories. He's got to get his head right this week. This team needs him to deliver.
Gets this one into the hands of Christian Kirk. And he does quite a bit of damage before they finally take him down.
Now, right there, that's what you want to see on your opening drive. Boom! Connect on a big shot, and instantly you set a tone that you're not going to be afraid to be aggressive in this game today. Boy, do I love that.
So as we all recover from that last play, it's 1st and 10 near the red zone. They'll put one of the tight ends in motion. Here's Travis Etienne on the ground. And he doesn't get this one very far, down to only about the 18. It's a gain of 3 for him. That brings up 2nd and 7. They'll throw it. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop him. And that pushes them back. 3rd down coming up.
Bend. Bend. Even good defenses, great defenses in this league, Kate, they're going to bend at times, but you never want to break. And when you get a sack in the red zone, well, that goes a long ways to helping your efforts.
Pressure's there, and he goes down again. And consecutive sacks have them staring at a tough 4th down.
That sure ended up being a worst-case scenario. Pass rush just kept coming and bearing down. And he was looking for an escape that wasn't there. It's just one of those plays in hindsight, Kate, where you really got to understand, I got to cut bait, cut my losses, and avoid such a negative play.
Has the distance, but headed well left. No good. And we continue to await our opening score of this ball game.
He was hitting from that distance pregame. Heck, we were on the field watching it, and they were confident he could do so again. Just did not work out this time around.
The Texans are being led back out there on offense by their quarterback. And as we play through November, you can see that this hot start has continued. He's the NFL's leader in touchdown passes. That one is incomplete. Couldn't hang on through the contact. No dice on that prior pass. Here's 2nd down. Setting up a throw. And someone stepped in. It's intercepted. Picked off by Andre Sisco. And the Jaguars take over as he records his 10th career INT. Not the auspicious debut they'd certainly hoped for on that opening drive. The coverage, impressive, taking their first possession away with that interception.
Hey, it is tough to play a clean game in this league. Caliber defenders are awesome. You just hope that eventual missteps happen at a less meaningful moment than your opening series. You don't want to make it any harder to get your rhythm and get your passing game going.
Here's Etienne on 1st down. And he's brought down for a loss.
Well, he was supposed to be the one who chipped away a few and got a new set of downs started right in rhythm. Instead, he's now forced to pick himself from behind the line thanks to a great effort defensively.
He smartly won't risk something here and just chucks it away. Looking for the back that time. And that's going to leave him with a tough 3rd and long. Back to throw now. And there's a man there. It's intercepted. And the Texans take over as he records his 10th career INT. Well, no doubt there was some doom and gloom on the sideline following their interception, right? But A little bit of new life now as their defense picks him up, gets it right back for him.
Hey, I am all for a nice little game of one-upmanship between these two defenses. You picked our guy off, fine. We'll answer right away. See how you follow that up.
Now we'll see the Houston offense for their second drive of the contest. And as they take the field, Brock, they got to be thankful that interception didn't cost them. Still scoreless here.
I like how you say they. I think the quarterback in particular
Yep.
right, loves a chance to have in golf a breakfast ball or a mulligan. Another opportunity to flush that first drive away.
Has him on the quick hitter. And this one's brought to a halt at about the 36-yard line.
That is the epitome of staying on schedule. That kind of completion right there on first down, or it opens up the entirety of the playbook for second down. Third and short in your back pocket, and get even more aggressive and take that shot.
We'll head out of bounds after a small gain.
He's just one of those guys, Kate. Even when he's not open, he's still a target thanks to that physicality and his ability to just play bully ball. They don't like forcing into coverage, but sometimes when you got a bully like him that can create space, just find a way to give him the ball.
And he's tackled with the first down yardage. Throwing from the gun. Completed over the middle. Still fighting forward. And he breaks into enemy territory before being stopped on a huge gain.
You know, Kate, we often talk about flipping the field in special teams, right? A kick return, a good punt. Well, an explosive play like that does the exact same thing. Look at the difference in field position by hitting on that shot. You've totally flipped the field and the tone of this drive.
What a spot for a big play, huh, Brock? It has him well into the red zone now with 1st and 10. From the red zone now. And that finds him in the end zone for the Houston touchdown. The Texans parlay the interception into points. And they've loved the scoring production he's brought out of their offense. That touchdown gives him 10 on the season. Lining up now to try the extra point. Right down the middle, it's good. And the Texans will jump out to a 7-0 lead. The kicking team all ready for the Texans, and forward they run to send it away. Kickoff taken at the 3. And in the end, he's able to get it to what used to be a touchback. It's at the 25 after the return. The Jacksonville offense back on the field now. They are coming off their first interception of the game. This drive now a chance to rebuild some confidence. Offense ready to begin this drive. 1st and 10. Trying to shake off the interception. He's looking to throw. No one open, so he chucks this to another county.
You really want those throws to be like clockwork for your offense. Every team needs to hit passes in that short to intermediate range to effectively move the ball.
And he'll get this up to the 29-yard line. They get about 4 there. Need a little more than that now on 3rd and 6. Throwing now from the gun. Complete beyond the marker. And he's out of bounds beyond the 35-yard line. Call it 7 yards on the play, and that's enough for the first down. From the gun, ETN gets it. And he can only manage 1 yard. The defenders were at the ready to bring him down. They'll come to the line here, 2nd and 9. ETN again. And once again, he doesn't manage much before getting brought down. A gain of 2 follows up a gain of 1, and now they're left with 3rd and 7. They'll try and throw it here. Escapes the puck. Oh, he was on the move, but so was the defense, and they take him down. And the defense comes through to back him up ahead of 4th down. Jacksonville in punt formation. And we'll see how his debut offering goes. Coming off a busy week, 5 punts in the loss, and he sends this one away. And this punt lands in the end zone for a touchback. Now we get a look at this Texans offense. They come in riding an 8-game winning streak, one of the longest in the league all season, partner. And they're in control of what could be win number 9. Play action on first down. They connect on the deep shot. And he crosses midfield before going out. Give him 32 on the play. And it sets up a Houston first.
One thing we don't have in football is we don't have that radar gun. But if we did, Kate, this is the kind of throw, when you throw it that deep outside the numbers, that requires a serious fastball, serious arm strength, and he just showed it off.
Running back sent in motion. They'll throw on first. Cut out left. And they're going to bring him down at the 36. 12 yards on that play, and a good call nets him the first. Off the play fake, he's going to throw. Caught, nice gain left side. And he's brought down a little short. No, actually they do give him the 10-yard line. They rip off a big chunk of field, and it sets him up with first and goal. Working inside the red zone. Oh, he trucked that defender. And this one stopped at the 3-yard line.
Kate, one thing I learned from the late, great Mike Leach is, yeah, the system was called air raid, but it wasn't just attacking downfield. His philosophy, and it played out right there, is you have to attack every inch of the field, both vertically and horizontally.
And he's in! Touchdown, Houston! The Texans take a 13-0 lead. So, Brock, this offense looking sharp here in the first half as they extend their lead.
You know, and when things are going well, sometimes you really just get into a groove. And this is a unit that's putting the pieces together.
Now they'll try the point after. Extra point sent right down the middle. And the Texans drive out to an early 14-0 lead. The kicking team all ready for the Texans, and forward they run to send it away. Returning it from the 4. Coverage team gets him down at the 26-yard line. Now the Jaguars getting set to go. This would be a good time for their first points of the game as they find themselves down a notable amount already in this opening quarter. And the drive will start out with a 1st and 10. They'll come out throwing. That is caught by Brian Thomas Jr. And he'll get it out to the 34 before he's tracked down. We're going to look here at the receiving numbers for him from last week. After a good pickup, they're set up with 2nd and short. Complete out to the right. And he'll pick up enough to move the chains. New set of downs for him at the 38. Throwing now on first down. He had it for a moment, but a great defensive play to jar it loose. Incomplete. He was trying to find Christian Kirk there. And that'll bring up 2nd down. Still sticking with the passing game. It's another first half mistake. He's intercepted again. And the Texans will take over as he records his first interception of our season.
Well, that's now his 2nd time that he's put his defense in a tough spot. That's a hard thing about playing quarterback, Kate. You know, with these interceptions and now the 2nd on the day, you're asking your defense again to step up to another series, another possession, another challenge. This quarterback's got to start protecting the football.
Out now come the Texans on offense. And they're coming off an excellent series throwing the football that led to that touchdown, Brock. So you and I both expecting that defense to be looking for that on this series. The Texans set up nicely as they come up to the line, 1st and 10. Shotgun snap, they're going to throw. He's got a man left. And they're going to bring him down at the 36. That'll go for an 18-yard gain. And the Texans are going to have a 1st down. Back now, pressure on its way. Finds him over the middle. And he gets down to the 24 before he stopped. And that one goes for a gain of 11. And it sets up a Houston 1st. Now they'll throw out of the gun. This one's to Rice out on the right side. And they have this well into the red zone now at the 15. Let's see what they want to do here, partner. It's 2nd and inches. They are throwing it again. The throw is caught. And he'll be taken down at the last possible moment. He's at the 1. 14 yards on a nice play there, and it gives them 1st and goal.
I'm sure Coach, a play caller, doesn't mind making the job a little bit easier. You know, play calling's a lot simpler and easier when you count on the offense to move the chains on those early downs.
4 downs now to get in. Here's 1st and goal. Oh, fullback's got it. Look at the power. And he's in for the touchdown. The Texans take a 20-zip lead. If there's an argument for continuing to rely on a fullback, Brock, it is plays just like that that remind us. They're pretty good at barreling in for touchdowns when they're given the chance.
And you know the greatest fullback name ever? Maybe you need to name your son Sam Gash. Because that dude, when I think fullback, I think Sam Gash just gashing people for touchdowns.
That one splits the uprights. And the Texans push their lead to 21-zip already. The kicking team all ready for the Texans, and forward they run to send it away. He's going to field this at the 2. And he's brought down just inside the 25 on the return. Jacksonville heading out there on offense. And things are really getting away from him, so an important moment here to try and get a sustained possession going. They're out and set, 1st and 10. Looking to throw here and shake off that previous INT. And he just hucks this one away. Wasn't going to risk a throw or force something. It brings up 2nd down. Throwing now off play action. And the cover just too good there. Didn't find a throw that he was confident in, so just throws it away. 3rd down coming up. He's going to throw this one. He puts some power on a deep one. Oh, no, they get him yet again. And the Texans take over as they intercept it for the 3rd time in just our opening quarter. Okay, Brock, now back-to-back drives where they have picked him off. That's got to be a worrying trend for these coaches who know how integral the passing game is to their game plan and their success.
Those poker players, the best of them, when they figure out a tell, they know exactly how to beat their opponent. This defense right now, they're reading this quarterback like a book.
Short pass brought in. And he's able to reach the 40 on that play. One quarter down in this all-AFC South contest. 21-0 our score. Welcome back. We'll begin the 2nd quarter with the Texans in possession. They're looking at 2nd and 3. Pass play now. Throw left side, complete. We're working a couple of yards past the line. Tyson Campbell, the man on that tackle. 3rd down, 1 yard to go. There's a give up the middle. And he's able to take this one down to the 25. A nice gain of 13 yards as it brings up a first down.
Win the early battle. Get a little leverage. Low man wins off the line, and that's all that was needed to ensure that first down right there.
To throw it on first down. Has him on the quick hitter. And they bring him down at the 18-yard line. 2nd and 3 now. Throwing from the gun. That's caught in stride by Rice. And he's tackled with the first down yardage. Throwing from the gun here. And he's brought down real close to that goal line at the 1.
It takes a certain level of fearlessness, craziness to work over the middle of the field in this league. You're fighting through guys as you go, and all the while you know.
And he's over the line and in. Touchdown, Houston. The Texans pick it off and get points on the ensuing drive. Well, Brock, not much to say other than the fact that this offense on point. They are just clicking today.
Just rolling. I mean, this is clinic. This is what I call teaching tape. Being well prepared, and more importantly, going out there and executing at a high level.
That one right down the middle. And the Texans grow their lead yet again. The kicking team all ready for the Texans, and forward they run to send it away. That's going to be taken in at the 8. This return makes it up to the 25. The Jaguars send running back Travis Etienne trotting back out to the field. And as we work our way through November, you see here he's the leader league-wide right now in rushing touchdowns. They'll get this drive started. 1st and 10. Here's Etienne to begin the drive. And he only manages one. Couple of defenders there to bring him down.
Hey, we know running the ball in the NFL is hard, and that play pretty indicative of it. Here's the key, though. At the end of the game, those type of plays got to be in the minority, and the majority have got to do some damage.
And they've got him behind the line for a big loss.
Kate, I knew it at the time. I think everybody did. We knew the Legion of Boom was special, right? That entire secondary, but their safety's ability, Earl and Cam, to come downhill, to make those tackles behind the line of scrimmage as he just did. Yeah, I mean, you appreciate great safety play like that.
Here he is on 3rd and long. And he'll get it up to the 27.
It's plays like that, Kate, right, wrong, where I sit and judge a defense. I judge the awareness. I judge how well that coordinator's got him equipped to see what's going on the field, and not just see it, but attack it. And they devoured that screen game on 3rd down.
The Jaguars in a punt formation. And he wants to hit his second effort just as well as he hit his first. He breaks the tackle. And he'll scrape together what he can on the return. He gets it back to the 20. The Texans headed back out on offense. Their quarterback returning to the field now. And on that last drive, Brock, he crossed a notable threshold in passing yards for the season. Always nice when you can reach one of those plateaus to look back on after the year's over. It's his running back. And he'll push this upfield and earn them a new set of downs. They've got first down from the 31. They motion the slot man right. They go play action on first. Finds a seam down the middle. And he's going to get stopped right around the 45-yard line. They got 24 yards on the play. And the Texans are going to have a first down.
You know, Kate, you'll find teams go to this crossing route concept sometimes a dozen times a game. And a lot of times it's for shorter yardage, but sometimes things break in the right coverage for a much bigger impact play, just like that.
Shotgun snap, looking to throw. Cut out left. This is ahead for about 5. was Andre Sisco who hauled him down there. Everyone's prepped. It's second down now. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Short pass caught by his tight end. And they haul him down just a foot or two shy of the red zone. That play goes for 19 and a new set of downs.
You want to become a quarterback's best friend, do that. Turn a short little gain, a short little pass into some yards after catch, and that quarterback will find you again.
Out of the gun, they'll give it to him inside. And he's able to power this forward, but they stop him after 2 yards. 8 yards to go. Let's see how they approach this second down. From the 19. Cut near the goal line. And in for the Houston touchdown. Ooh, baby, Brock, this one has gotten well out of hand.
You think so? I think this is utter domination. Going to be a lot of questions to be answered. I'm going to guess this is a press conference.
The point after splits the uprights. And the Texans continue piling onto this lead. The kicking team all ready for the Texans, and forward they run to send it away. He fields it from the 8. Coverage team gets him down at the 26-yard line. Out now runs the Jaguars offense. And coming off a 3-and-out, Brock, they really need to build some momentum from the ground as they try to get on that scoreboard here. First and 10, they're going to throw. That's Thomas. He's got it. And he's going to get this up to the 45 before he's brought down. A 19-yard pickup, and that's going to move the chains. Just one play into this drive, and they're already sitting on their own 45. Throwing now on first down. Finding Davis. And he'll get this through midfield and starts pushing into Texans territory.
That is a textbook first down completion. Sets up second and very manageable and creates space to take that shot downfield.
Here's second and 2. That's complete. Here's Kirk. And they're going to take this in for the Jacksonville touchdown. The Jaguars start to fight back with their first points of this game. It's a Christian Kirk touchdown. So sensational work by the skill man there, Brock. Anytime you can make your quarterback look that good, you know he appreciates it.
That's a quarterback's best friend, no question. But on the other side, gosh, defensively, you got to get that skill player down. Period, end of story. You can't give up that much yards after catch.
All set for the kickoff. Little with the honors. Here's a return from the 7. And this return gets to the 30 before he stopped. The Texans ready for their next series. Led out on offense by their quarterback. And at the pace he's begun the game throwing the football, Brock, he is in line for a special type of performance if they need to keep throwing it until the end. Shotgun snap, they're going to throw. He'll dump this one off to his running back, complete. And he's going to bring it up to the 40-yard line before he stopped. Options are open here. It's second and inches. Blown back in the backfield, and he gets the handoff. And that's good yardage with a new set of downs.
That's certainly a spot where you could be more aggressive, Kate, if you wanted to take your shots. But some coaches, even the bolder ones, will take the safe play first when they get it from time to time. No third down required now.
First and 10 from a yard shy of midfield. Back to throw. Finds his man over the middle. And they catch up to him, but not until he's got a huge gain and a first down. That one hits for 30. And it sets up a Houston first.
I think my favorite part was the magic he worked after the catch. The way he took the completion and made so much more out of it by adding all the extra yardage.
Thinking touchdown here after that big play. We've got 1st and 10 from the red zone. They'll run it from the gun. And he works this to the 15 before they make the stop. Halfway to the marker. It's 2nd and 5. We're at the 2-minute warning now from Everbank. The Texans hoping to grow their lead before halftime. Halfway to the marker. It's 2nd and 5. Pass play coming here. Defender arrives right as the ball does, and the hit knocks it free. Incomplete. Last pass unsuccessful, and they have 3rd down here. Back now, pressure on its way. No place to go, so he just threw it away.
So many coaches love 3rd downs and practice them so much, Kate. Why? Because they're the money down in the NFL. Whether it's a close game already out of hand, coaches know got to execute and convert on these 3rd downs.
The 12-year vet strikes true, and the lead continues to grow and grow.
You always feel like you leave a few points on the field when you kick it from here, but they don't wind up empty-handed on the drive. And the kicker, well, he gets to pad his stats a little bit with the high percentage make.
This one's fielded at the 4-yard line. And in the end, he's able to get it to what used to be a touchback. It's at the 25 after the return. The Jaguars and Christian Kirk headed back onto the field. And that last drive, no answer for what they were doing through the air. So expect some tighter coverage this time around. They'll throw on 1st. Complete. It's Ingram. And he'll go down after pushing this up to the 29. 2nd and 6 now. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop him. Timeout coming from the Texans. That's their 1st. And they'll take a moment to ponder what the call's going to be on 3rd down. Give to ETN running right. And he'll get this up to the 18-yard line. Timeout taken by the defense. Their 2nd. Riley Dixon on the punt. And after that drive went backwards, he's going to send this one forward. And he's certainly been staying busy. Once again, he's out to punt and sends this flying. And he's getting nothing on that return. They wrap him up almost at the exact spot that he fielded that punt. This offense and their quarterback making their way back out there, ready to take over once again. And we're all hoping his hot start can continue. He's been putting up some numbers early in this contest. Shotgun snap, looking to throw. And he's just going to get rid of this one. Smart move there. When you saw the field, it's going to be 2nd down. They'll throw out of the gun. Forced out to his right.
Tick, 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 tick. You know, his internal clock right there told him it was time to escape, and good thing he listened to it. He was able to make something out of nothing and at least move them forward.
3rd and long for him here. And this one falls incomplete. Still 17 seconds left to play.
And this is why scouts talk about a player's closing speed, Kate. You know, once he senses the pressure, he's getting rid of that ball. It takes a player who can close quickly to get to him before it's released. And that sure altered the throw.
Only 10 seconds remaining here, so 1st and 10 may be our last snap of the half. They send a receiver in motion right. They'll turn to the ground game and just run this clock out. And he found some running room for a nice gain. We've come to halftime. The Texans in unfriendly confines. But hey, they've got the lead. Now then we'll send you down I-95 a couple hours to Orlando, depending on traffic. And we're going to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He's got our EA Sports halftime report.
All right, Kate, we'll get back to you and Brock in a bit. For now, plenty of early action in the 1 o'clock Eastern window to get you caught up on. So let's get to it. We'll begin our tour out at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. And they are just about ready to head to halftime with the Dolphins on top. The Dolphins looking to...
Not everyone's a fan of the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll keep our focus right here. Let's get back to football with the start of the second half. Fielded at the 7. And he gets across the 30 before he's brought down. The visitors back out on offense. Their running back headed out once again. And he is the NFL leader in rushing yards as we work through November. He's hoping an excellent season can continue as such here. Throwing with a blitz on the way. Has him on the quick hitter. And he'll get taken down after advancing this to the 37. After a good pickup, they've got 2nd and 4. They're running the option, short side. Breaks across midfield, hits the opposing territory. And he gets this one down to the 27. That goes for 36 yards. And the Texans are going to have a first down.
Hey, forget about it. Forget first down. For a moment, they were thinking touchdown on that play. What a time to deliver a breakaway run. And that puts a ton of momentum on their side for the next snap.
Back to pass on 1st and 10. Finds him over the middle. And he'll have a small 4-yard chunk there. Devin Lloyd on the tackle. 2nd and 6 coming up here. Give now to the running back. And that tackle stops him after a solid gain. That's going to be a gain of 6, and they need only inches now here on 3rd down. They give it to him again. And that short gain is enough for a new set of downs.
That is your old school meat and potatoes call right there. Don't even think about throwing it. Just rush it ahead and get what you need.
Throwing now from the gun. This one's caught. And he's to the 5 before going out of bounds.
Quarterbacks will look for their tight end short in just about any situation. They take away the deeper options. Well, there's their consistent source of positive yardage, the trusty tight end.
Into the end zone, but someone's able to knock it away. That's incomplete.
I'll tell you what that deflection right there, Kate, tells me. That defense was following and reading the quarterback's eyes. Knew exactly where that throw was going.
And look at the footwork there. Touchdown. The Texans grow the lead coming out of halftime. Wow, just fantastic work there. Tiptoeing along the back line. The concentration was there. Great catch for 6.
Yeah, the concentration and the body control. I don't know how these receivers do it in this day and age. There's no space to work with, yet they have such an awareness to secure it first, to tap dance the line, and go get that touchdown.
That one splits the uprights. And the Texans continue adding on to that lead. The kicking team all ready for the Texans, and forward they run to send it away. Returning it from the 4. And the return sets them up just beyond their own 20. Now the Jaguars offense ready to take over once more. And the open lanes, the beautiful windows that he no doubt dreamt about before this game, Brock, well, they just haven't been there. It's almost like the defense challenged itself between the pass rush and the secondary. Who could make more big plays here?
Yeah, you're talking about the difference between the practice field and then the reality of this game. Sacks, interceptions. And while we won't be the final judge on which area this defense has been the biggest winner, we do know who the loser's been, the quarterback, who's had to deal with an excellent defensive showing. Well, that's a pretty similar result to a first down run play. Moves it forward, keeps you on schedule, and makes 2nd and 3rd down a whole lot easier to manage.
On 2nd down, it's ETN. And the defense gets there to force a small loss.
You know, Kate, during draft season, I was talking to an NFL GM, and he said, you know what, in time, we're going to realize tackles for loss are just as big a deal as sacks. Sacks get so much of the popularity. Tackles for loss, when you knock that offense backwards, I promise you, in time, we'll be keeping a closer eye on plays like that one.
And they finally bring him down, but that is a big gain and a new set of downs. A new set of downs forthcoming. It's 1st and 10. They send a tight end in motion. Inside handoff goes to Etienne. And he'll cross the 50 and start pushing onto the opposing side of the field. 2nd down now, 7 to go. One of the tight ends motioning right. Throwing off the play fake here. Stays in. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop him. And that pushes them back. 3rd down coming up.
Kate, I can already read the headlines tomorrow. This offensive line can't protect. This offensive line. But it's more than that. When you give up 5 sacks in a game, it's a complete breakdown of everybody offensively. Play calling, quarterback, offensive line. Yeah, they're going to have to regroup and figure out how to protect this quarterback first and foremost. You can earn your money in the NFL in all sorts of different ways, but defensively, in a league where you're just not hitting as much in training camp, you're not tackling as much as they got to in the old days, when you can make a play in the open field, keep them short like that, I promise you some money will follow.
The offense being led back out by its quarterback as they get geared up for their next possession. Drive starts out with a 1st and 10. Plowing up the middle. And they're able to grind him to a halt after a pickup of 4.
Well, I'll steal a line from one of my buddies, but I'm going to quote him. Mark Schlereth, 2-time Super Bowl winner, says if you want to run the ball, you got to keep running the ball. And that's a perfect example of it. Don't get tired. Don't get mad at gaining 4 yards. It's a run that can set up even more in the run game.
Looking for his wide receiver there. And it's 3rd down. Trying to throw here out of the gun. It's his running back. And they catch up to him, but not until he's got a huge gain and a 1st down. They strike for 23 yards. And it sets up a Houston 1st.
From a great throw to a nice route and catch to moving the chains, there wasn't a whole lot not to like about that amazing play.
They kick the running back in motion. To the air now on 1st and 10. Short pass brought in. And they're going to bring him down just on the other side of midfield. That one goes for 17 yards and moves the chains.
I love throwing on 1st down. And when you see a 1st down pass just like that, it's taking advantage of a matchup you plan for, and you go out and execute.
Completed over the middle. And they're going to bring him down at the 36. It's a 13-yard play, and that's enough for the 1st. Throwing from the gun here. Throws off the rip, but it's incomplete.
There's the importance of staying in phase as a defender. He was all over him in coverage, and that really did help force the incompletion.
2nd and 10 now. This one is hit by a defender and winds up incomplete.
And you ask a lot of your defenders on that field. It is not easy to play defense in today's NFL. Not only stay in their assignment's hip pocket, but to make plays on the ball as it arrives. He was challenged with an intermediate throw, and he swatted it away with ease.
No better luck than the last play, Brock, as he just has to get rid of it.
So often, so many of these games in the NFL, well, they come down to a play or two, and 3rd downs are critical. Whether it's in a close game or already out of hand, their coach wants to see them convert those.
And this kick is good. He needed to get all of it there, and he did. And they didn't even need those points when you look at how impressive that lead is.
Well, that's why they spend all the time on the practice field during the week. That kind of operation. Perfect rhythm, perfect timing, and a 2 for 2 for this kicker.
Good looking return here, and he's got room. The return manages to get just beyond the 30. The offense returning to the field now as we get a look at their wideouts. And the turnovers have not helped as they find this game out of reach at the moment here in the third. Throwing it to start this drive. He'll get this to ETN. And he's short of the first after a mild gain. Following that completion, remember the O-line looks to be in some pain. They're headed out to take a look at him now. 2nd and 6 coming up here. Running back sent in motion. From the 34. And he'll get it up to the 44. Give him an even 10 yards on the play. And that's a Jaguar first down.
And the Jaguars first down. 1st and 10.
Now looking to throw. That's Thomas. He's got it. And he's going to go down right along the midfield stripe. After a good pickup, they've got 2nd and 4.
Brings up 2nd and 4 at the 50-yard line.
Out of the gun, a give to ETN. And he's going to get stopped right around the 45-yard line. 5 yards on that play and enough for a new set of downs. Ball on the 45, 1st and 10.
That's good for a Jacksonville.
Throwing from the gun. On the move, past the 40. And they get this down to the 28. It's a great pickup, 16 yards, and now they've got first down.
That's good for another Jaguar.
Fakes the handoff, now to throw. ETN on the catch. And he gets this down to the 13-yard line. That play gains 15, and it moves the sticks. Still on the move, coming to the line for 1st and 10.
That's good for another.
He'll give this up the middle to ETN. And he's brought down by a collective effort there, only 1 yard on the carry. They'll come to the line here, 2nd and 9.
Brings up 2nd and 9.
Looking for a throw here. Pocket isn't holding up. They're able to drop him. And that pushes them back. 3rd down coming up.
Time we offered some serious blanket praise for this entire group defensively. The guys up front, they've certainly generated the pressure. Everybody on the back end in coverage, well, they're holding down their assignments to delay these throws. This is going to be one tomorrow, one fun tape to watch, because 6 sacks, hard to come by in this league.
Thought he had a touchdown there. And now they're staring at 4th and long.
Cam Little for the Jaguars field goal. A 37-yard.
The kick by Shudak is good. And Brock, I'd say that's more of a moral victory than something that's really going to affect the deficit much.
Here in the 3rd quarter, he gets a chance to make up for the miss on his first attempt of the game. This time, well, he is totally dialed in, and he gets this one to count.
Return coming from the 6. And a decent return ends as they bring him down inside the 30. The Houston offense out and ready to set up shop. And you can see in these clips quite an extensive highlight reel he's put together in what is a 4-touchdown game for him already.
Yeah,
Offense ready to begin this drive. 1st and 10. They'll come out throwing. Hits him on the out route. And he's up to the 35-yard line as they reel him in.
that's what you call efficiency. Exactly what you're looking for on first down. Textbook. It sets up 2nd and very manageable, and it creates that space if you want to take a shot downfield.
And he's going to be brought down at the 42. 6 yards on the play and enough for a first. Back-to-back carries here. And he's brought down after a solid gain on what's going to be the final play of the quarter. Thankfully, only 1 quarter to play now. We've reached the end of 3 in this lopsided affair. It's Texans football as we start the 4th, and they hold a commanding advantage here. After a good pickup, they've got 2nd and 4. Hand off to the back. And he'll be brought down after getting it to the 47-yard line. Pick up a 5 on that play. And the Texans are going to have a first down. Another carry for him. And it took a couple of guys to haul him down there after a gain of just 1.
You know, they got some positive yards. That's a good thing. But too many plays like that, it just is too hard to pile together, get first downs against the better defenses in this league.
And that's good yardage there with a new set of downs to boot.
You spring a big gain like that, Kate, on the interior, 9 times out of 10, that O-line decisively won their matchup with the big fellas up front. They got those pads down. They created leverage, and they opened up that running lane.
And he stopped just before he reaches the red zone at the 21. The end result there, 15 yards and a first.
Now, don't think for a second they're going to slow down the tempo. Defense on their heels. And right now is the best chance to go push that envelope and get aggressive.
Throw left side, complete. And they make the stop as that play reaches the 14-yard line. 2nd and 3 now. Here's a throw. That one is incomplete. Couldn't hang on through the contact. Ball and defender arrived at the exact same time there. And now they'll face a 3rd and 3. He'll look to throw. Complete beyond the marker. And he'll get this inside the 10 to the 9. A gain of 5, Brock, and now they're going to have 1st and goal.
You know, they call that the money down for a reason, because you're just simply not going to last long in the NFL if you don't convert a good portion of your 3rd downs. It's the money down. And nice to see them roll the dice and continue the series.
2nd and goal coming up, 5 yards to the end zone. Another chance for him. And he won't challenge for the goal line. The stop made at the 4. Only a yard on the gain there, and now it's going to bring up 3rd and goal from the 4. He's dropping back to throw. And he will score. It's a Houston touchdown. The Texans continue adding to an insurmountable lead. It's plays like this that make him so well regarded across this league, Brock.
Yeah, such just a difference-making receiver, Kate.
Yep.
You expect him to be the target down here. You did, I did, the defenders did. But what makes him a star is even when people know his number's being called, he still finds a way to deliver.
That one right down the middle. And the Texans tack on 7 more to their lead. The kicking team all ready for the Texans, and forward they run to send it away. Here's a return from the 7. And he's going to make this to the 28 before going down. This offense ready to get going again now. And all game they have struggled to attack this deficit. Maybe they can do a little window dressing here. And the drive will start out with a 1st and 10. He'll throw it. And he has it along the sideline, but he got a little too close to that edge. They're going to say he's out of bounds. We've got 2nd down. Couldn't connect on 1st. It's 2nd down. Looking to the air here. He's on the move. He tucks it and takes off. And a nice gain here, but it stopped short of the 1st. The Texans bringing out an extra DB. 3rd down coming up. They're throwing it. That's complete. Here's Kirk. And they finally bring him down, but that is a big gain and a new set of downs. Ball on the 45, 1st and 10. Back to throw. He had it for a moment, but a great defensive play to jar it loose. Incomplete. It arrived as the ball did to break things up. And now they face 2nd down. snap. They're going to throw. Finds his man over the middle. And he's able to reach the 40 on that play. So now here's 3rd and 5. Back now, pressure on its way. Defender arrives right as the ball does, and the hit knocks it free. Incomplete. Cam Little getting the call on 4th down here to put 3 up for the Jaguars. It's a deep shot for him from that left hash. It's no good. It had the leg, but his aim wide right. The Texans set up nicely as they come up to the line, 1st and 10.
Man, that is a sound every kicker dreads. I really thought it had a chance to sneak in, but instead, it's rejected by the upright.
And he heads out of bounds. Great pickup on that run. 16 yards on the play. And it sets up a Houston first. Markers reset, ball at the 37. Going to the ground again on 1st. And the plunge up the gut yields nothing there. No gain there that time, and it's 2nd and 10. To the well again. And he'll get this down to the 33-yard line. They get about 4 there. Need a little more than that now on 3rd and 6. It's the 2-minute warning here in Jacksonville. Texans nearing their 9th win of the season. 3rd and 6 for them to figure out now. They'll try and pick this up on the ground. And tough sledding for him. Only room to get it to the 30. For the 3rd time today, we see them setting up for a field goal. From the right hash, it's a 47-yarder. And that one is good. A little longer, but no problem at all. And a fairly insurmountable lead grows by 3 more.
Yet another shot across the bow of a ship that's already sinking here, Kate. He could have made that field goal. Heck, he could have turned around and kicked it directly at his coach because it feels like they've got this one in hand.
Coverage team gets him down at the 26-yard line. Now this offense getting set to work here. And they'll get one final chance in a game that, to put it mildly, Brock, has been a bit of a miserable experience for him. Throwing now on 1st down. This is hauled in by Ingram. And they're going to touch him down after a short pickup. 2nd and 6 coming up here. Dropping back to throw. Finding Davis. And he'll get it up to the 44. It's a pickup of 14 yards as the chains reset. On the 44-yard line now, 1st and 10. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Has him on the quick hitter. And he drives this across midfield and down into enemy territory. 2nd and 3 now. Throwing it again here. On the quick slant, it's Davis. And he'll pick up enough to move the chains.
And the Jaguars, 1st down.
They'll empty the backfield and motion him out. Throw reeled in by Thomas. And he's taken down at the 30. So the Texans come away with the road win. And this streak will live to see another week as they take down yet another opponent over Brock. What has been an incredible stretch of games for them. So that's it for us here. Brock Heward, our crew, I'm Kate Scott. This has been the NFL on EA Sports. It's a win for the Texans as we bid farewell from Jacksonville.